This is my Gibson Les Paul Studio, and the Studio, as most guitarists will know, is like a cheaper version of a normal Les Paul, but I have got one of them over here as well, which you'll see in a minute. I just like this guitar. It's got an ebony neck. I think it's from the 1980s, and it was just built really well. Quick story, two stories. One of my friends was posing with it, and it dropped off the strap. And he was really tall, so it landed further than it normally would, and it ruined the pickups. They went microphonic, so I had to change these pickups from the Gibsons to the Kent Armstrongs. But these are fantastic pickups. The other little story about this guitar, I mean, it's a lovely looking thing. It plays great. But I left it on the stand overnight when we were playing at the Jam House in Birmingham. We used to do 2 nights, weekends, or 5 or 6 nights around about holiday periods, like Christmas and stuff. I used to leave my stuff on the stands overnight, and I noticed it's in a different place when I turned up one day, and it turned out that one of the cleaners had had an accident with it, and they'd knocked a cymbal stand over, which had taken that chunk out of the back of the neck there, right? And I don't know if you can see it, but you see that great big slice in the back there, that groove. That was my mate's ride cymbal. It went straight through it. But like I say, I ain't too bothered about that sort of thing. If it sounds great and it plays great. Oh, the other thing was as well, look, you see how these knobs, obviously they go with all the gold hardware and everything, which looks great. Well, when I got this guitar, it had these knobs on, which I'll go straight to next, that I'll go and just pop that over. So this had those knobs, and that had these knobs. Right. And I thought, well, that don't make any sense, because that's black, you know, with nickel, silver hardware, etc. And this is cherry red with the gold pickups and all the gold hardware. So I swapped them over, and I thought, well, that looks a bit nicer. Don't make any difference to the guitar as such, but just a nice thing. Anyway, that's a little story about me, about my Gibson Les Paul Studio. Yeah, I think it's from about the 1980s. I've had it about 30 years anyway, 25 years maybe. But the Les Paul Studios, as I said, they're like a cheaper version of the full-blown Les Paul standard, because they don't bother with the binding around the side of the body and that sort of stuff. But basically, it's essentially the same guitar, but with a few cost-cutting aspects to it. But you can get one of these new now. I think they're about 1,600 quid for a new one of these. If I had to go and buy a new one, and it wouldn't have the ebony fingerboard either. But I think I've seen it for about 1,400, 1,600 maybe. I don't know. I ain't checked recently, but made in the USA, Gibsons, I always tend to hold the prices, you know what I mean? And this is a particularly special one, and I wouldn't part with any of the guitars I've showed you, because I already got rid of too many before I came over. Anyway, there we go.